Welcome, MHP 322, Study Section 7, Teaching Aids, Instructional Alternative. Introduction. This study section introduces you to various teaching methods known as instructional alternatives used as teacher, which would help you to achieve the instructional objective. You will also learn that there is no teaching method that can be said to be better than the other. Instead, they complement each other. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this section, you should be able to define audiovisual aids, identify various types of teaching aids, identify factors to be considered when choosing teaching aids, identify guiding principles in making and using audiovisual aids. Teaching aids or audiovisual aids. You will agree with me that teaching aids or audiovisual aids are very important in teaching learning process. According to NELUN 2010, audiovisual aids and materials produced, distributed and used as planned components of educational programs. They help in the process of learning, that is, motivation, classification, and stimulation. They are multisensory materials, which motivates and stimulates the individual. It makes dynamic learning experience more concrete, clear, and realistic. It provides significant gains in thinking and reasoning. Audiovisual aids are sensitive tools used in teaching and as avenues for learning. These are planned educational materials that appeal to the sense of the learners and quicken learning process for clear understanding. Purposes of audiovisual aids: to make teaching learning more concrete, to serve an instructional role in itself, to create interest among the group, to make teaching as an effective process. Advantages of audiovisual aids: helps in effective perpetual and conceptual learning. It's helpful in capturing and sustaining attention of students. It arouses interest and motivates students to learn. It is helpful in new learning. It helps in saving energy and time of both the teachers and students. It provides near realistic experience. It can meet individual demands. It is useful for education of masses. Characteristics of good teaching aids and audiovisual aids. Good teaching aids and audiovisual aids should be meaningful and purposeful, motivate the learner, accurate in every aspect, simple and cheap, improvised, large in size, up-to-date, and easily portable. What to consider when choosing teaching aids? When choosing a teaching aid, ABC test of a good teaching aid should be considered: accurate and up-to-date in every detail, appropriate for the age, ability and interest of those with whom it will be used, and also for the intended purpose. Artistic and well produced, giving a pleasing first impression. Brief, containing essentials without irrelevancies, bold in presentation so that every user can see it clearly and is left with a memorable impression. Bright, using color to the best effect. Careful in its plan and production, giving it a deserved impression of good quality. Clean and well cared for, with any damage already repaired, cleared, so that every user can quickly grasp what it has to say. Classification of teaching aids or audiovisual aids. Teaching aids or audiovisual aids are classified according to the type of projection or display of such teaching aids or audiovisual aids. Hence the following. Classification of audiovisual aids according to function. Audio aids. Audio material are those which can be heard. Examples: radio, tape, recorder, Walkman, headphones. Visual aids. These are able to visualize the things. Example: graphic aids, 3D aids, display boards, and print material. Audiovisual aids. These aids can be heard and seen simultaneously. Examples: projected aids, TV, films. Classification of audiovisual aids to complexity. Simple audiovisual aids, it includes graphic aids, display boards, 3D aids, print material, etc. Sophisticated audiovisual aids include audiovisual aids. Principles to be followed for the effective use of audiovisual aids. Audiovisual materials should function as an integral part of the educational program. Audiovisual aids should be centralized under specialized direction and leadership in educational programs. An educational program should be flexible. Audiovisual aids material should be carefully located to eliminate duplication, easy accessibility, and convenient use. Audiovisual material should be available whenever and wherever they needed for effective utilization as an integral part of curriculum. Projected audiovisual aids. Overhead projector. The overhead projector is the most used of all audiovisual aids. It projects transparency with brilliant screen images suitable for the use in a lighted room. The teacher can write or draw diagrams on the transparency while it teaches. They are projected simultaneously on the screen by the projector. Nelly 2010. During presentation, keep the screen above the heads of the participants. Keep the screen full view of participants. Make sure you are not blocking anyone's view when presenting. Darken the room appropriately by blocking out sunshine and dimming nearby. Turn the screen off between slides if you are going to talk for more than 2 minutes. Talk to the audience, not to the screen. Purposes. To develop concepts and consequences in the subject matter area. To make marginal notes on the transparencies for the use of the teacher that can carry without exposing them to the class. To test students' performances while other classmates observe. To show relationship by means of transparent overlays in contrasting colors. To give the illusion of motion in the transparency. Advantages. It permits the teacher to stand in front of the class while using the projector, thus enabling her to point out features appearing on the screen by pointing to the materials at the projector itself and at the same time to observe the students' reactions to our discussion. Gains attention of the learner. Overhead transparencies. Transparencies are popularly instructional medium. They are simple to prepare and easy to prepare and easy to operate with the overhead projector, which is lightweight. A 10 by 10 inches sheet with printed, written or drawn material is placed on the platform of the projector and a large image is projected on the screen behind you. The projector is used from near to the front of the room with the teacher standing or sitting beside facing the students. Guidelines for making effective transparencies. Have one main idea on each transparency. Include one related figures and diagram. Use simple lettering style in writing. Use diagrams in proposition to its lettering. Keep the message clear and simple. Emphasize the key messages. Use color and lettering with discretion. Advantages. Permits face-to-face interaction with the students. Can be used in daylight conditions. Can present information in systemic developmental sequences. Requires limited planning and can be prepared in a variety of inexpensive methods. Easily available. The opaque projector. Opaque projector is the only projector on which you can project a variety of materials. Example, book pages, objects, coins, postcards, or any other similar flat material that is not transparent. The opaque projector will project and simultaneously enlarge directly from the originals. Printed matter, all kinds of written or pictorial matter in any sequence derived by the teacher. It requires a dark room as projector is large and not reality movables. Advantages. Stimulates attention and arouses interest. Can project a wide range of materials like stamp, coins, specimen when one copy is available. Can be used for enlarging drawings, pictures, and maps. Does not require any written or typed materials, and written materials can be used. Help students to retain knowledge for longer periods. Review instructional problems. Test knowledge and ability. Simple operation. Disadvantages. Costly equipment. Need to use it with care. Needs a darkroom for projection. Slide projection. A slide is a small piece of transparent material on which a single pictorial image or scene or graphic image has been photographed or reproduced otherwise. Slides are a form of projected media that are easy to prepare. They are still pictures and positive things which can process and mount individually yourself or sent to a film laboratory. The standard size of the slide is 2 by 2 and 35mm. Camera will make satisfactory slide. Slides can be made from photographs and pictures by teachers and people taking photographs and snapshots when they go on field trips for historical, geographical, literacy, or scientific excursions. The arrangement of slides in proper sequence according to the topic discussed is an important aspect of teaching with them. Advantages. Requires only filming, processing and morphing by cell or laboratory, result in colorful, realistic reproduction of original subjects. Preparation with N35mm camera for most uses. Easy to revise and update. Easily handled, stored, and rearranged for various uses. Can be combined with tape narration or can control time for discussion. May be adapted to group or individual use. Film strips. Film strip are sequence of transparent still pictures with individual frames on 35mm film. A tape-recorded narration can be synchronized with film strip. Each strip contains from 12 to 18 or more pictures. It is a fixed sequence of related stills on a row of 35mm film or 80mm film. Principles. Preview film strips before using them and select carefully to meet the need of the topic to be taught. Show again any part of the film strip needing more specific study. Use film strip to stimulate emotions, build attitudes, and to point up problems. It should be introduced appropriately and its relationship to the topic of the study brought out. Use a pointer to direct attention to specific details on the screen. Types of film strip. Discussion film strip. It is a continuous strip of film consisting of individual frames arranged in sequence, usually with explanatory titles. Sans live film. It is similar to film strip, but instead of explanatory titles or spoken discussion recorded, explanation is audible, which is synchronized with the pictures. Advantages are compact, easily handled, and always in proper sequence. Can be supplemented with recordings. Are expensive when quantity reproduction is required. Are useful for group or individual study as projection rates are controlled by instructor or user. Are projected with simple lightweight equipment. Non-projected audiovisual aids. It is a combination of graphic and pictorial material designed for the orderly and logical visualization of relationship between key facts and ideas such as comparison, relative amount development, processes, classification of organization. It includes the following. Purposes. To visualize an item. It is otherwise difficult to explain only in words. To highlight important points. To provide outline for materials covered in presentation. To show continuity in process. For creating problems and stimulating thinking. For showing development of structure. Type of chart. Narrative chart. Arrangement of facts and ideas for expressing the event in the process of development of a significant issue to its point of resolution, or we can show an improvement over a period of years. The cause and effective chart. Arrangement of facts and ideas for expressing the relationship between rights and responsibility or between a complex of conditions and change or conflict. The change chart. Arrangement of facts and ideas for expressing transitions or cycles. The evolution chart. Facts and ideas for expressing changes in specific items from beginning data and its projection into future. Strip piece chart. It enables speaker to present the information step by step. It increases the interest and imagination of the audience. The information on the chart is covered with thin paper strips to which it has been applied either by wax, tape, or sticky substance or pins. As the speaker wishes to visually reinforce the point with words or symbols, it removes the appropriate strip or paper. It produces interest. It increases learning and aids recall. Full chart. It consists of written messages which are hidden by strips of thick paper. The message can be shown to the viewer one after another by 6 pulling out of the concealing strips. Flow chart. Diagram used to show organizational elements or administrative or functional relationships. In this chart, lines, rectangles, circles are connected by lines showing the directional flow. Tabulation chart. It shows the schedule of an activity or of an individual Example, timetable of a class. These are very valuable aids in the teaching situation where breakdown of a fact or a statement is to be listed. Also, it is a useful aid for showing points of comparison, distinction, and contrast between two or more things. While making the table chart, the following points must be kept in mind. The chart should be 50 by 75 centimeter or more in size. The chart should be captioned in bold letters. The vertical column should be filled in short phrases rather than complete sentences. Flip chart. A set of charts related to a specific topic have been tagged together and now on a supporting stand. The individual charts will carry a series of related materials or messages in sequence. The salient points of specific topic will be presented. Pie charts. A circle will be drawn and division will be made into different sections. Each section will be coded differently and code key will be given at right corner of the chart as legend. The circumference is divided into suitable sections. It is relevant for showing the component parts. Purposes: to teach the students, to give health education, useful for small group, used in group discussions. Principles: the message can be brief, simple line drawing or photographs, cartoons, and the content will be written in few lines at the back of each card. 10 by 12 or 22 by 28 is commonly used size. 10 to 12 cards for one toy can be used. It should not be less than 3 and more than 20. Prepare a picture for each idea, which will give visual impact to the idea. The height of writing on the flashcard is to be approximately 5 cm for better visualization. Using the flashcard. For classroom instruction, the flashcard is to be properly used. The following steps are used while displaying flashcards. Give brief introduction about the lesson to students. Give instructions to students about their actions while you flash the cards. Flash the cards in front of the class by holding it high with both your hands so that all the students can see it. Let the students respond as per instructions already given. Review the lesson by selectively using flashcards. Advantages. Flashcards can be used to introduce and present topics. It can be used to apply information already gained by students to new situations. It can be used to review a topic. Can be used for drill and practice in elementary class. To develop the cognitive abilities of recognition and recall of students. It can work as a useful supplementary aid and can be effectively used with other material. Disadvantages: cannot be used for a large group. Prone to get spoiled soon. Preparation is time consuming. Posters. Posters are the graphic aids with a short quick and typical messages with attention capturing paintings. Purposes: to provide general motivation, to create an aesthetic or atmospheric effect, to communicate a more general idea for the classroom and community. Preparation and rules. Plan for specified people. Tell the message at single glance. Use bold letters. Use pleasing colors. It should be placed where people pass or gather. Features of a good poster. Brevity. Message should be concise. Simplicity. Message should be easily understandable. Idea should be based on single idea and it should be relevant. Color. Suitable color and combination should be used to make the poster attractive and eye-catching. Display. While displaying, one should be sure to find a place where there is adequate light and where the larger population will see it. Advantages. It attracts attention. It conveys the message very quickly. It does not require a detailed study. Good poster leads to action with good motivation. It can stand alone and is self-explanatory. Disadvantages. Poster does not always give enough information. When a poster is seen for longer time, it may not be attractive, so it should be dynamic. Graphs. Graphs are the visual teaching aids for presenting statistical data and contrasting the trends or changes of certain attributes. Method of preparation. Before making the bar chart, make a rough sketch of it in the notebook. For drawing the bar graph, use the chart paper of 50 by 72 centimeter size. Use two different color shades. for the two contrasting groups. The bar should be equally spaced. Write the key to the bar graph in the box on the right-hand side corner of the chart paper. Numbers specifying the magnitude of the bar should be on the top of the bars. Types: pie graph. These are called a circle diagram. The data are presented through the sections or portions of the circle. In determining the circumference of the circle, we have to take also into consideration a quantity known as pi. The surface area of the circle is to cover 360 degrees. The total frequencies of value is equated to 360 degrees, and then the angles corresponding to component papers are calculated. After determining their angle, the required sectors in the circles are drawn. Bar graph. The graphic presentation extends the scale horizontally along the length of bars. Each bar must be of the same width. Height of the bar over a period represents the corresponding time of the variable. Graphs are available in two forms, that is vertical and horizontal. Line graph. This shows the trend and relationship. Example is single line that shows the relation and the variation in the quantity. Quantitative data are plotted, or when the data is continuous, the concepts are represented with the help of lines drawn either horizontally or vertically. The plotted points are connected to one another instead of the base thus producing the curve. Pictorial graph. It is an outstanding method of graphic representation. Pictures are used for the expression of ideals, and they are more attractive and easily understood. Vivid pictures will be used to create rapid association with a graphic message. Each visual symbol may be used to indicate quantity. Maps. A map is a graphic aid representing the proportionately as a diagram, the surface of the earth, word or parts thereof. It conveys the message by lines, symbols, words, and colors. Types of map. Political maps. These maps show political divisions of the world, a continent, nation. Physical maps shows the physical contour of the place, area, and region. Relief maps. It shows the actual elevations and depressions in a place, area, and region. Weather maps shows the amount of rain, temperature extremes, humidity in an area, region, country. Population maps shows the distribution of population in various parts of region, country. Picture or tourist map shows historical spots, monumental sites, etc. Road map shows the roads of the region connecting various parts and points together. Railway maps shows the railway links between various points. Air maps show the air routes between various points. Sea route maps show the sea routes between various seaports. Newspapers. It can furnish health message in local language which can reach to the public easily. The information will be available in low cost, easy to read and understand simple language. The people may learn to read and interpret the content along with the picture to enhance easy grasping. Advantages. Best method to reach a large group. Pictures will help in easy understanding. Attractive and easy to understand. Lots of information can be obtained in various fields. Disadvantages. Useful for literates only. Detailed information cannot be produced. Dimensional aids. Models. A model is a recognizable representation of a real thing, three-dimensionally, that is, height, width, depth, is felt as reality. Types of models. Solid models. It is the replica of an original thing made with some suitable material like clay, plaster of Paris, wood, iron, etc. to show the external parts of the things. Examples: globe, clay model of human and animal. Cutaway and X-ray models are the replicas of the original things to show internal parts of the thing. Cross-sectional models are difficult to make in the classroom or institution as they require expertise to construct them. Examples: cross-sectional model of human body. Working models. These models are either actual working things or they are miniature replicas. For illustrating an operation, example, a motor, a generator. Sand models, made by using sand, clay, sawdust, example, a tribal village, a forest area. Advantages. Models heighten the reality of things and make learning direct and meaningful as they are three-dimensional. Models illustrate the application side of certain principles and laws. Models explain the complex and intricate operation in a simplified way and thus make comprehension easier. Models are lasting and ultimately work out to be cheaper teaching aids. Steel models are easy to make with the help of discarded materials like empty boxes, pins, clips, nails, and clay. Models are to reasonable size and convenient to idle. Models involve the use of all the five senses and thus make learning effective. Objects and specimen. A collection of a real thing for instructional use refers to objects. A specimen is a sample of the real object or a material. While using the specimen and object as teaching aids, a teacher must keep the following points in her mind. Object and specimen should be mounted in a shallow boxes in an artistic way, and the boxes should be covered with cellophane paper. Also label each object or specimen using self-adhesive paper. Plan your teaching with certain simple and direct observation of the object or specimen being referred to. Ask questions from the student to elicit more details of the features of the object or specimen under observation. Clarify and emphasize important structural details of the object or specimen under observation. Provide review and practice to make learning permanent. Sources of object and specimen. Local markets, manufacturers and factories. Discarded materials from the houses. Specimen found in nature can be collected by students from the field trip and nature hunt. Plaster cards can be purchased. White flowers, leaves, shells, stones, butterflies, moths, insects can also be procured. Advantages of objects and specimen. Collection of objects and specimen by students requires interaction with others, leading to development of social skills and values. Students, when collecting and displaying objects and specimen, derive satisfaction of contributing to the school. Students' power of observation and first-hand experiences is enhanced by collection of objects and specimens. Students' personal collection of objects and specimens can be a good source of doing investigatory projects. Collection of objects and specimens become an interesting educational pursuit of the teacher and students alike. It arouses some interest among students in learning. Objects and specimens involve all the five senses in the process of learning. It heightens the reality in the classroom. It makes teaching lively. Exhibitions. Many times in the school, a department of the school or a class puts up their work for showing it to the pupils outside the school, and such a show is called exhibitions. The pieces of work done by the students for an exhibition are called exhibits. Advantages. Exhibitions inspire the students to learn by doing things themselves, and they get a sense of involvement. Exhibitions give students a sense of accomplishment and achievement. Exhibitions develop social skills of communication, cooperation, coordination. Exhibitions fosters better school community relations and make community members conscious about the school. Exhibitions couple information with pleasure. Exhibitions foster creativity among students. Disadvantages: require thorough preparation, time consuming, require funds or budget. Chalkboard. A chalkboard or blackboard is a reusable writing surface on which text or drawing are made with chalk or other erasable markers. Blackboards were originally made of smooth thin sheets of black or dark gray slate stone. Modern versions are often green or brown and are thus sometimes called a green board or brown board instead. A blackboard can simply be a piece of board painted with Mantel dark paint, usually black or dark green. A more modern variation consists of a curved sheet of plastic drawn across two parallel rollers, which can be scrolled to create additional writing space while saving what has been written. The highest grade chalkboard are made of rougher version porcelain enamel steel, black, green, blue, or sometimes other colors. Porcelain is very hard bearing, and chalkboard made of porcelain usually lasts 10 to 20 years in intensive use. Disadvantages: they produce a fair amount of dust depending on the quality of chalk used. It cannot be shared with or used near dust-sensitive equipment such as computers. Some people find this uncomfortable or may be allergic to it, and there has been speculations about links between chalk dust and respiratory problems. Auditory aids. There are also an effective aid. Usually radios, recorders, gramophones come under this category. Using a record player for teaching. A record player can be used in the following ways in the actual classroom situation. A record player can be used to supplement a lesson. A record player can be used for an appreciation lesson in music. A record player can be used for an appreciation lesson in literature. A record player can be used for students to acquire the singing ability, deliver a speech properly, and recite a poem in the right way. The player can be used to end or conclude a lesson, introduce a lesson, and review a lesson. A record player can be used for physical exercises and accompanied with music. Tape recorder. A tape recorder is a portable electronic gadget to record, reproduce, erase, and re-record sound on a magnetic tape. This device can be used without much use by anybody by operating the following press buttons attached to the recorder: this, stop, play, wind, rewind, record, pause, and eject. Uses: it is used to learn foreign languages, rhymes, and songs with clarity. Gramophones, like radio gramophones, are also important teaching devices. Helps to listen to famous speeches, to teach good pronunciation in foreign. Audiovisual aids. Videotapes. Teaching with videos. Always preview and evaluate the video, even if you have produced it yourself. It will help establish relevance in terms of the points or visuals you wish to emphasize during the viewing. Check the room's lighting, seating, picture and sound quality to be sure that everyone can see and hear the video when it is played. Prepare students by briefly the previous related studies or teach prerequisite skills in order to equalize students' background. Brief them on the video's contents and list the key points or questions to direct attention to specific aspects of the video. For recapitulation or further discussion, replay the video to consolidate information which was previously presented rapidly. This contributes to the overall learning experience, as students will have the opportunity to see what they have missed in the first showing, since watching a video is mostly a passive activity. You should introduce activities to motivate students' participation, especially before and after the playback. Conduct post-viewing discussion or quizzes to emphasize key issues or points. Redirect attention to new content or concepts. Help students to process complex information. Assign reading lists and project work and so on. You may identify other activities that will help to reinforce students' learning. Video self-confrontation or micro-teaching. Video self-review is a technique in which you record and play back your teaching or presentation for analysis and self-critique. The video recorded can be of an actual or practice unit, tutorial demonstration, or presentation. On playing back the recording, you will become unaware of the strength and weak points of your unit presentation in aspects relating to content, structure, organization, sequencing, mannerism, speech, voice production, and control, as well as the effective use of instructional media. Be critical of the weak points that require attention or correction, and revise your teaching strategy and performance accordingly. Record your presentation in a 10-minute segment, again to compare with the previous efforts. After repeating this process several times, you will see evidence of improvement in your presentation. It is sometimes difficult to be your critic. If you want an objective analysis of your performance, ask a friend or a colleague to sit in with you. Activity 8. There are certain learning situations in which students' participation through direct experiences can be easily incorporated. These are called activity aids. The activity teaching aids are really of great values as they put students in the role of activity seekers of knowledge. Study section summary. In this study section, you have been introduced to various teaching aids, also known as instructional alternative, used as teacher, which would help you to achieve the instructional objectives. The advantages and disadvantages of these teaching aids were discussed. Also, factors to be considered before using the teaching aids were discussed. Moreover, in this study section, you learn the method of production and the use of these teaching aids for instructional purpose. We've come to the end of study section 7. Thank you.